It's
now,
time for What's Hot.
It
Sorry,
is, and
I
it
read
says,
your part.
thank you. We talk about stories that have all of us talking.
We're joined by Jon Anne Willow from Third Coast Digest at thirdcoastdigest.com. Plus, Jeff Wagner is back. At age 17, Wisconsinites are too young to vote. They can't buy alcohol. They can't buy cigarettes. Access to some common household items like over-the-counter medications containing ephedrine and chemicals like benzene, those could be limited. But 17-year-olds who commit a crime will face the same consequences as an adult. Is that state law too tough on 17-year-olds?
Now, this law was enacted in 1996, I believe. Jeff's the legal expert on that. And it was enacted in a number of states at one time. And 15 states have rolled those laws back because prior to 18, most states focus on rehabilitation instead of punishment. I actually think that the code is a little complex and it needs to be taken on a case-by-case basis. And I mean, Jeff, you practiced for a long time. You know that it's really hard to boilerplate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess I in general don't have a problem with the law. I mean, the idea that, okay, well, you can't, you shouldn't be treated as an adult in court because you can't vote. Well, okay, you can't drink legally till you're 21. Does that mean that a 19-year-old who commits a multiple homicide shouldn't be treated as an adult? I think what they really focus on is your capacity to appreciate the wrongfulness of your conduct. And I think for most 17-year-olds, they have that capacity. Now, if you want to have an overall conversation about the state of the juvenile justice system, I'm all there because I think it's been messed up for a long time.
Yeah, that will be a longer conversation. I think a lot of people do think, though, 17-year-olds, if they make a big mistake, they should, pay for that. I think you need context in these situations, and that's what you're hoping is happening.
Well, and as Jon Anne said, case by case, because I think if it's premeditated murder,
right.
As far as rehabilitation for that individual, if it's a lot lesser crime, maybe look at rehabilitating them, getting them back into society instead of treating them like an adult.
And that's actually maybe not even a bad policy all the way around. I mean, our prisons are overcrowded, they're dreadfully expensive, and some criminals will frankly just aren't as dangerous as others and could be dealt with in a halfway house and probation situation.
And that's where the discretion, and a lot of that goes on now because, prosecutors have discretion, as to how you're going to charge a particular case. And, criminal record and age, all those things are taken into account. So there's still a lot of flexibility, except for the serious cases. I mean, obviously, if you've got, an armed robbery or shooting or a murder, the kid's going to be treated as an adult, but the kid should be treated as an adult under those cases, I think.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Coming up next, a man loses his job while trying to check up on a woman. Was it the right?
What's hot?
Again, we're joined by Jon Anne Willow from Third Coast Digest and Jeff Wagner of News Radio 620 WTMJ. Well, a county worker in Georgia has been fired after entering a woman's home after complaints about noise and an overgrown lawn. There we go. She was at home sleeping and woke to find him inside her house. Now, the man said the house smelled so badly he was concerned he was going to find a body or someone else dying inside the house. The woman filed a complaint saying she felt violated. Someone was in her home. Well, did he do the right thing? Should he lose his job?
That's really complicated because he did violate their policy, the county's policy, and there was a set of rules about what would happen if you did that. On the other hand, we had a story last week about a lifeguard who went outside his zone to save a life and was fired, and we all agreed that that was wrong. If he sincerely believed that someone could be dying inside. I mean, she had video cameras all over the place. You could see that he wasn't being predatory.
He knocked. It showed him kind of knocking at the front door and then checking and it was open.
Well, this is Georgia. First of all, he's lucky that she wasn't sleeping with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Because that's number one. Number two, I do think he should have been fired. And I guess, to me, before you go into somebody's home, it's got to really be an emergency situation. This guy was not a police officer. He was a code enforcement person. I don't know that there was evidence that this was an emergency situation. I think he might have been afraid that someone was dead. Well, okay, then it seems to me you pick up the phone, you call the police, and you get an emergency responder out, as opposed to a code enforcement guy poking around. But he's lucky. This could have really ended up badly.
Yeah, and the owner not happy.
No.
Yeah.
About all this. All right, let's go to our third topic. If the berets and double-breasted young Republican look that the U.S.'s Olympic athletes will be wearing during the opening ceremony in London aren't doing it for you, here's a gripe about the uniforms some people are having. Ralph Lauren had them made in China, just like 4 years ago. Should U.S. Olympic uniforms be made in America?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, they're nice outfits. I don't know why they had to go to China. You could find someone to make those outfits here.
Well, and did you see the research we were sent? The jackets, the men's blazers were like $795. The pants were hundreds of dollars. The shoes were hundreds
they're
of
white
dollars.
pants. Come on.
Ralph
Right,
Lauren
so-
stuff is expensive.
Right. So I mean, but if you're going to spend
Oh, I
the
see what you're
buck
saying.
anyway,
Yeah, but yeah.
You could definitely afford to get them made in America. Like, what was he saving? Where was he
Right,
cutting
yeah.
corners on these by having them made in China?
Okay, well, I got a couple comments. First of all, I was a young Republican. I did not dress like that, so I object to that classification.
Let's see the
I want to
pictures.
see you in a
Secondly,
beret.
the
on.
beret. Yeah, where does that come? Okay, we're going to emulate
That's
the
like a French
This is the
twist.
U.S. Olympic.
I
don't
team.
get the beret.
No knock on Bastille
Okay,
days.
I
but-
like the men's outfit.
Right.
Take off the beret.
Yeah,
The
the
women's
hat can
skirt,
go.
I don't care for. It
No.
needs to be like a pencil skirt.
Yeah,
a
it's
little
very
more
unflattering.
classy. It's kind of sock hoppy.
Right, and I'm with you guys. I mean, you can't find an American manufacturer that can do this.
I just think it's
right.
it's bad. I mean, it's a bad image. He shouldn't be doing it.
And he was allowed to do it 4 years ago, and there was a huge amount of backlash.
And then he goes and does it again.
He does it again, and then
Yeah.
I guess there was some backlash about something he did similarly in 2002. It's like, but we keep hiring him. We keep letting him do it, and he keeps going to China. So, like,
Maybe a
he
new
and Steve
designer
Jobs
next
are
year.
probably
You know,
close.
having said all that, though, if it's good enough for the Olympic team, isn't it good enough for the four of us? How
Oh,
about some
quiet,
berets, huh?
quiet.
Maybe some
Just
berets.
not a
Some
beret guy.
Chinese
Come
made
on.
berets.
No.
That's what we need.
Maybe we can find some American-made berets. Probably,
probably
not,
could,
but
yeah.
Sure,
some
the Army
berets.
surplus store.
Let's put our producer Nicole on it. Some berets for the crowd.
Can we have those by next week, Nicole?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got 2 weeks before the Olympics. So.
She says no problem.
Work
Okay,
it.
you
We're
find
in.
them, I'll wear them.
I'll
All
do
right,
it.
we're going to take a quick break and be right back.
I want mine black.